want to discuss some of the properties regarding distance. And one of the things that we need to note about distance is cannot be negative. And when we talk about distance has no direction. Okay? Direction is basically giving us that positive negative. Distance is just telling us how far it is from point A to point B. Think about the distance from your home to work. You're not going to change that distance, and if you go from home to work or from work to home, you're not going to go a negative distance, okay? And so that is kind of what this first property is saying, that the distance between any 2 points, A and B, is greater than or equal to 0. And that's written AB, the distance between A and B, is greater than or equal to 0. So if I have any 2 points, A and B, the distance between those two has to be greater than or equal to 0. It doesn't matter if I draw them this way. Their distance between each other is still greater than 0, because again, we're not talking about direction, we're just talking about how far they are between each other. Okay? Now, if they're 0, that means they're right on top of each other. They're the exact same place, which could be possible. That happens, like if they're in the same building type of thing. Same classroom, same office space, so their distance is 0. But again, it's still not negative. Now the distance between any 2 points is the same. So from A to B is the same as from B to A. So again, it doesn't matter which direction I'm going, this distance will always be the same. So the distance between 2 places will always be the same. Now, the distance that you travel to get there may be different because you may go different routes, but the official distance will always be the same. For any 3 points, A, B, and C, the distance between A and B plus the distance between B and C is greater than or equal to the distance between A and C. Written the distance between A and B plus B and C is greater than or equal to A times C. Now, if they're in a line, let's say that we've got it here. Here's A, B, and C. The distance between A and B would be this right here. The distance between B and C would be this here. So AB plus BC would equal the distance from A to C. So if they're in a straight line, they're going to be equal. The distances added together will be equal to each other. Now, if they're not, let's say that I have A, B, and C somewhere. This basically, we can make a triangle out of this. Oop, that does not work very well. So basically I can kind of make this triangle. And so what this is saying is that any two sides of the triangle added up have to equal or be greater than the length of the third side. Now the only way that they can equal is if they're a straight line. So if it's a triangle, AB plus BC has to be greater than AC. So in other words, the length of these two added together has to be greater than this, because otherwise they would collapse and be straight line. Same thing, BC plus AC added together would have to be greater than AB. So this line plus this line has to be greater than this line. And lastly, AC plus AB has to be greater than BC. So these two lines have to be greater than this line. Again, if they're equal to each other, then they collapse on each other and make a straight line, like this. If they're less than, what happens is you have AB here, and then you have this line AC. Well, this line can't even get there, because if I collapse this one down, it would fall here. Collapse this one down, it would fall here. They wouldn't even touch. Okay? And so you have to make sure that the sum of the distance between two sides is greater than or equal to the third side, which is this theorem of triangle inequality. The sum of the lengths of any two sides of a triangle is greater than the length of the third side. And I've kind of just shown you a proof of that, because if two sides are less than, they don't reach. Okay? If they're the same, then they're going to make a straight line, because they're going to collapse on each other.